going here. We're a couple minutes early. I want to jump in here. Listen, just a couple things. Just want you to know there's some things going on around here. I'm going to pop some more lights on. There's a few things going on around here. You might hear some hammering, some sawing, some nailing, some all kinds of things. We're in the midst of construction right now, and all of a sudden it got noisy. But as you know, the show must go on. So we're moving forward. We're moving forward. Day number 8 of the 10 days of money momentum. And so we're going to get started here in about 2 minutes. As you start to come on, do me a favor. Say hello. Hello. Yeah. Dara, it really is. I was just going through and proving it's almost launch day for me. We've got a week away, the first week of May 3rd. We're going to go live with the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. I can't wait. I'm looking at the episodes. We're looking at the graphics. We're trying to get all the web stuff done. It's been really kind of cool. A lot of work, but it's been fun to get this thing ready. I've got 10 shows already recorded. I've got 4 or 5 more that I'm in process of doing. Then I want to actually do, believe it or not, hi there, Deanna. I actually want to do some of my shows. I want to record them live. So we're going to do some live stuff. It's just, I don't know. I want to have fun. I want to serve. I want to make a difference. But it all starts next week. The Affluent Entrepreneur Show comes out. So I'm so cool. So thankful for you there. Just anyone that wants to get the word out, it's, I would be honored and blessed. Tommy is in the house. Tommy is in the house on Facebook too. So Facebook will be going live here in 30 seconds. I got a countdown timer up for them. And so we're rock and rolling. Today's going to be fun. Tell me how your day's going. It is a Monday. How y'all doing? So 20 seconds we're going to go live, and well, we're live now, but we're going to start the whole thing. So tell me about your Monday. Tell me what's going on. Say hello. Tell me what's your biggest breakthrough is. Here we go, live on Facebook in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. All right. So welcome to day number 8 of the 10 days of money momentum. I'm so glad you all are back, and happy Monday to you as I record this. Oh, that's good to know. As I record this, there's some construction going on in the background. So just so you know, if you're hammering, sawing, I'm not in danger. We're doing construction here, and they're doing some things here. So that's what's going on in the background. They're actually putting new doors on, so and they're right out there. But it's got to get done. Otherwise, we're just gonna, kind of like in the old college days, you just hang towels or sheets or something. But we don't want to do that. So that's the game. But welcome back. Hope you are doing incredible this morning or this afternoon. It could be morning. It's morning in the other hemisphere. So let me know where you're coming in from. Today, day number 8. Yesterday, we talked a lot more about investing. We talked about the rules of investing. We talked about why people lose money in investing, the kinds of things that have happened to me, the things that you need to be aware of as you move forward, so you can be safe in doing that. Today, we're going to talk about decisions. All right, decisions, because here's the thing. Our decisions today, as the prompt said, our decisions today become either the chains that bind us and keep us grounded right now, or the wings that allow you to soar. And I want y'all to make the decisions that are the wings that allow you to soar. Too often, we sit back and we make some decisions, financial decisions, money decisions, that actually ground us. They chain us down. In fact, wherever you are today, whatever financial situation you're in today, and this is not about blame, this is not about anything else. And we've also already talked about acceptance and responsibility and all of that. But wherever you are today is some product and result of decisions you made in the past. But what that means is wherever you're going to be tomorrow and in the future is going to be the total of the decisions you start to make from today on. So let's make some different decisions. Let's make some good decisions. Let's make some things that are going to start to change the trajectory of your financial destiny. This is about financial liberation. Remember, here's the deal. How do we go from that treadmill entrepreneur to the affluent entrepreneur, to getting off the situation where you are so dependent that there's this one-on-one relationship between your effort in and your rewards out. You're selling time, and every time you need to make money, every time you need to create cash, you actually have to put in a bunch of effort to get it to happen. Well, what we need to do is figure out how do we increase our output, our rewards, with not increasing our input. In other words, there needs to be a disconnection between your efforts in and your out and your rewards out. Okay? Now that doesn't mean you don't work. It means you work, but we work at a leveraged level. We work in a way that allows us that for every input in, one input in, we get 2, 3, 4, 5 inputs, rewards out. That has to do with decisions. That has to do with the things that we do. We may start getting cash in. The question is, what are we doing with the cash? Today what I want to introduce you to is one of my other frameworks. I know. Mel has got frameworks coming out of the ears. Yes, he does. And here, if it's all right with you, I'm going to take a detour for a moment. Why does Mel use frameworks? Why do I use frameworks so much? One, because they work. They are one of the most powerful teaching tools, learning tools that you can have. When you create a properly created diagrammatic framework, it creates understanding. It takes complexity, moves it to simplicity. It creates something that is memorable, and it creates something that is valuable. But here's the more important thing when we use frameworks, is that the reality is, if you see the framework, it's a diagram, you take it in visually. When you take something in visually, it connects to the heart. It's an emotional intake. So this is why I use frameworks, because I want to connect to your heart. I want you to feel my soul at the same time too. But because it's got structure to it, because it has structure to it and direction and psychology built into it, it connects to the mind. It is the one tool that you have that allows you to connect the heart and the mind at the same time. It's the one thing that you can put in front of people that can speak to their heart and their mind at the same time. And that's why I do it. And I actually learned this in my career because of my testimony experience. See, I was testifying in financial trials and business trials and damages and valuation of businesses and all of those things. Yeah, woohoo, it is day number 8. So here's the thing. The jury, when they would listen to testimony, financial testimony is about as exciting as DNA testimony, okay? But in that situation, the question I'd ask myself is, how do I make sure that the jury or the judge or the trier of fact would remember what I said when they go and decide to make the decision? And would they truly remember formulas and numbers on a flip chart? And the answer is no. But when I went up there and started doing this, where I would look at the jury and say, is it okay? The other expert gets up there and he does his formulas, or she does her formulas, and she does the math, and they do all the math, and they know how they got to the numbers. But I get up there and I say, is it okay if I tell you a story and draw a picture for you? And I draw a picture, I draw a framework, and I tell a story around the numbers. The judge, the jury, they all remember the story, and they all remember the picture. That's why we use frameworks. That's why I use them. So we're going to talk about a framework that I have called the Wealth Priority Ladder. It is how I mentor, or how I tell people, when you start to have cash coming in, what priority do you put it in? What do you do first? What do you do second? Do I pay off my credit cards? Do I put it into an investment account? Do I go and buy cryptocurrency? What do I do? All right. So this is my formula for doing it. Now there's other people that have their formulas. Mine is my own. There is some similarity because there is a logical, economical way to make this happen. It's a mathematical way to make this happen, but by and large, this is mine. Okay, you've got Dave Ramsey's baby steps. This happens to be my ladder, my priority ladder, and how to do it. So what I want to do is I kind of want to walk you through it. It's 4 phases and either 6 or 7 steps. So 4 phases, 6 or 7 steps, depending on whether you have college-bound kids. Okay, there may be an additional step in there if you've got kids that might go to college. So really today what I want to do is, now that we spent some time talking about the mind, we spent some time talking about the habits, we talked about the behaviors, all of this to move the money needle. And yesterday we talked about investing and we talked about the rules of investing. Now I want to turn around and say, let's talk a bit deeper about the decisions you're making. When that dollar comes in, when that $100 comes in, when that $1,000 comes in, when the $10,000 come in, what do you do with it first? Where does it go first? So now you'll have a recipe, if you will, for what to do with the cash and the profits that are coming in. Okay? Now this is going to be at the personal level. There is a slightly different, nuanced one that we use at the business level. But I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you all personally. I want to talk to you about what do you do personally. So the very first thing to do, and those of you that are on Facebook will be able to see this, and I get that those of you that are on Instagram won't. But trust me, I'm gonna post it up. You'll be able to see it. But the very first thing that I want each of you to do is to make sure that you have something set aside called a comfort fund. So the very first thing is this. My question to all my clients is do you have at least $1,500 in cash or 1 month's expenses? Okay, so if $1,500 does not cover 1 month's expenses, I want you to have 1 month's expenses. Now you might look at me and go, I don't know, but what I mean by this is I want it in cash, in a high yield cash account. So $1,500 or 1 month's expenses. What does that mean? The purpose behind this is if you have no cash on hand, you're going to be anxious. You're going to be anxious because if something happens, and the statistics show that most Americans today, and I know that I'm talking to more than Americans, but I think it is global too, is that most people today do not have the ability to sustain themselves if they had an unexpected expense of $600 or more. $600! What is going on out there? All right? We need to do something about it, but part of that is the choices and the decisions we make. Now, some of this is going to sound brutal. Some of this is going to sound where you're going, oh my God, I can't believe he's telling me to do this. But let's just look at it. If you need to come up with $1,500 to put in a comfort fund, into a high yield account, so you know that if some emergency comes up that's unplanned, you're not having to go into debt to take care of it, that you have the ability to take care of it. Look, if that means that you might have to go do a side gig for a little bit to bring in cash, then do it. I promise you the peace of mind that comes out of it is going to surpass the aggravation of doing it. But look, if you looked around your house, if you were truly honest, and I was sitting there and you looked around your house, I'm curious, do you think you got stuff that is around your house that you're not using you could sell? I bet you do. Put it up on OfferUp. Put it up on Facebook Marketplace. Get that $1,500, get $2,000, get whatever you need, get it into a comfort account. Let me tell you, if I wanted to sell stuff, I got plenty of stuff to sell. When we got rid of our home, one of our homes, we got rid of it, we started selling stuff. Now I was selling it because I needed to get rid of it, not because I was trying to make money. I didn't need the comfort, I didn't need to fund anything. I just wanted people that were serious. I didn't want people saying, I'm going to come and get it, and they never get it. So I wanted them committed. So I was selling stuff for like $50. But point being is that Today, more than any other time, we have the ability to put things, market things, and get things sold. So if you don't have cash available, here's what I want you to do. I mean, walk around the house. What are things you ain't using? Okay? My English teacher would shoot me for using the word ain't. Okay? And just sell it. Get the comfort fund. Step number one, $1,500 to 1 month's expenses in a comfort fund so you can be a little more relaxed. Then step number two, this is now. Step number one is phase one, step one. It's only got one step. Phase number two is got multiple steps to it. Phase number two, the first thing is our consumer debt. Okay, consumer debt. We need to get rid of consumer debt. What do I mean by consumer debt? It's for the things that you consume. Now, there are people out there that believe that all debt is the devil. Okay, I am not of that same ilk. I don't believe all debt is the devil, but I do think that all debt has certain characteristics. All debt costs. In other words, if I'm going to go into debt, if I'm going to borrow money, whether it's on a credit card, a loan, or a car, or anything else, it's going to cost me money. They call it interest. It's a penalty for not paying cash. Okay? All debt, the second characteristic that all debt has is it stresses you. Whether you believe it or not, the fact that you have a loan, a balance due, or something over your head is that there is an undertone of stress that will exist. When you are debt-free, trust me, it's a more peaceful feeling. But that doesn't mean that you don't use debt. There is destructive debt and there's productive debt. Okay? I'm an entrepreneur. If I was simply a consumer, then we don't want to use debt. But I am an entrepreneur. That means that sometimes I have to invest in things to get a multiple back, a return on investment. That means that there is things that I need to be able to invest in that maybe at the time I don't have the cash for. For instance, I might actually put Facebook ads on a credit card. So I'm not going to tell you not to use your credit cards. I'm going to tell you to use them smartly, not on consumables. Because I put my Facebook ads do go on my credit card. And then I pay it off at the end of the month. Now, we'll talk about that payoff at the end of the month thing in a second. But we pay it off at the end of the month. But the reason I do that is for every dollar I put on the credit card, because we're getting sales on the back end, I make $3 back. Is that destructive debt or productive debt? See, productive debt does a couple things. It increases your cash flow over time. And increases your net worth over time. If I'm putting money out on a credit card for Facebook ads that returns me 3x or 4x or 5x, I get increased cash flow, increased profitability, and increased net worth. It's productive debt. If I put stuff on a credit card because I'm buying luxury items that are consumable that I'm going to use up, I'm buying a flat screen TV or something like that, yeah, that's destructive debt. That's destructive debt. Okay? Because it's consumable. You're basically using your future earnings to pay for something that's consumed today, and there's no value to it. There's no ongoing value. It doesn't increase your cash flow. It doesn't increase your net worth. It might be enjoyable for a moment, for a time, but understand that. So my desire here is that we get rid of destructive debt, that we extinguish consumer debt. If, for instance, you are deep in debt and you have debt that you're trying to struggle with, here's where I want you to go. I want you to go to melabraham.com/no debt. melabraham.com/no debt. There's a debt breakthrough calculator that you can get for free. You put your debt in, you put the payments in, and you can play around with it and see which way you get it paid off faster, which way you get it paid off cheaper. It'll schedule out the payments for you and then go to town and beat down that debt. All right? Now, let me touch on this whole idea because of people who say, but Mel, I pay off my credit cards every single month. I said, you're right, so do I. I pay off my credit cards every single month too. But do you know why? Do you know why they gave you these credit cards? Let me make sure the number isn't out. Do you know why they gave you this? Not so you could spend money. Well, it is. Spend money that you didn't have. Here's why they got the credit cards. You want to know the psychology behind it? The psychology behind credit cards and payments is that what they wanted to do is take the friction away from the buying decision. Take the friction away from the buying decision. Okay? In other words, look, I walk into the store. Okay? Like, I walk into the store and I can take my credit card and I go like this and I just tap it and I charge. There's no friction. It's done. It's easy. This is what they're doing. Here's the statistic. The statistics show even when you pay the credit card off every month, the fact that you're putting on the credit card, 75% of the people overspend because it's easy. It's easy. So even though you pay your credit cards off, now, every month, you may still be overspending because the lack of friction in the buying decision. It makes it easy. So I get it. Pay them off, but still be aware, conscious, and in tune to what and intentional with what it is you're spending on. So we want to get out of consumer debt. That link, someone asked for the link again, is melabraham.com. melabraham.com/no debt. Okay? melabraham.com/no debt. And then you can download that calculator. So that's the first step in phase 2. So phase 2 has 2 steps to it. Okay, we want to get our consumer debt down. And now we want to start building additional cash. We start out with the comfort fund, but beyond the comfort fund, what we want to do is now start to build in what I call the peace of mind fund. Okay, some people will call this the emergency fund. I call it peace of mind. I like the term peace of mind. I don't want to bring emergencies in, but it's to give me peace of mind. You know, everything's cool, everything's good. Now, what most commentators, most people will say is that you want 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months of your expenses in an emergency fund, in a peace of mind fund. Okay, for years, I was saying 3 to 6 months is not enough. People told me I was conservative. After the pandemic and the shutdown, they all said, "Oh my God, Mel, we should have been listened to." You know, even Mark Cuban is now is not that he agreed with me, but he came out and said something that actually agrees with me. Here's what I think you need. I think you need 9 to 18 months of expenses minimum. Now I get it. That's a lot to accumulate. But over time, we want to accumulate. Why do I say that? Because here's what I believe. I believe something happens the first couple of months, you're in shock. You're confused. You're trying to figure it out. You are distraught. The second couple of months, you're starting to get things dialed in and trying to get things settled and get a direction and a plan. And the last couple of months, you're finally moving forward. So by that time, you're 6, 8, 9 months in. I want to make sure that you sit back and God forbid something happens. You go, we're good for 9 to 12 months, 18 months. So what I want to do, what I want you to do is get that comfort fund in place. Then I want you to start hammering at the debt and hammering at the peace of mind fund. Now, I'm going to give you 2 ways to do this. Yeah, I have used 12 to 24 months for business owners to do this. So I want to extend your peace of mind fund depending on your circumstances, but a minimum of 9 to 18 months. But if you're a business owner, I might push to 12 to 24 months unless you have a second income in the family that covers things and does that. So here's the thing. There are those people out there that absolutely say you must pay off your consumer debt first because I want to get you out of debt. And that's highly dependent upon you. Here's what I mean by this. I'm okay with you actually doing the pay down of your debt a little slower if what you're doing is putting money in your peace of mind fund. Because I think that what ends up happening is, one, you start getting the compound effect early. You start putting money away, and you start to see that I'm building a money balance and not just lowering the debt balance. Is it going to extend your paying off your debt a little bit? Yes, it is. But here's what I tell my clients: if they don't want to go heavy after the debt and they want to start into saving money too, I tell them to split it. So if I have an extra $500 a month, $250 is going to go into the peace of mind fund until I get my 9 to 18 months in there, and $250 is going to go against my debt, and do it that way. Now, when it comes to getting out of debt, you use the debt breakthrough calculator at melabraham.com/no debt. You can play around with the snowball method and the avalanche method. I'm not going to go into the details here. You can use the calculator to do it, but it's a way to accelerate and get focused on your consumer debt to get yourself out of it. So phase 1 is getting the comfort fund. Phase 2 is getting the consumer debt, the destructive debt gone, and your peace of mind fund in place. So now, if you're at phase 2, you've got consumer debt gone. You've got 9 to 18 months of cash on hand. God forbid something happens. Okay. Now we cross the threshold into phase 3. Phase 3 is a beautiful phase. Okay. Because this is when we start to put our investing on afterburners. Because the next piece up, the next stage up, when we get there, is to realize that the next piece is what I call freedom. Now we're investing in our freedom. Now we're looking to invest into a future that makes that happen. Man, Justin Prince is on the line. Thank you so much, my friend. So good to see you. Miss you, man. So when we talk about freedom, this is where I want you to start to go heavy into your 401ks, into your retirement accounts. What I try to get my clients to do, if they're below the age of 50, I want them to invest 15 to 20% of their income. And I want them to get their regular investing up to 15 to 20% of their income regularly on automatic. Without you thinking, you're not writing a check, it's automatically going in. Okay, we're not talking about the investments right now. I just want the allocation of your income, 15 to 20% going towards your future, your freedom fund. Okay? Now, if you're over 50, you're not going to like this, but you're going to have to push it even further. I want you at 25 to 30%. You got a shorter runway. We got to get this game in the game. Now, if you happen to have money already saved and you got a big 401k already, then that may not completely apply. But what we want to do is we want to max out any matching. We want to max out our contributions. We want to start making sure that we've got money put away for our future so we don't think about it. Because trust me, whether you believe it or not, I don't know whether Social Security will be around or not. But even if it was, it's not enough to give you the lifestyle you want. So let it be the cherry on top. But let's not make it the whole ice cream sundae. I like ice cream. Haven't had really, I've got fake ice cream because I haven't had sugar, dairy, or grains for 2 years since the cancer and all. So phase 3 starts off with the Freedom Fund. This is getting you to a point where every dollar you make, 15 to 20 cents on the dollar, goes into an investment account. Okay? So phase 3, step 1 is the Freedom Fund. And then once you know that you're 100% funding 15, 20% into it, then I want you to go aggressive against your property, okay, against your residence. If you have a mortgage on the residence, then I want you to start putting money in there to get that thing paid down. Having yourself debt-free. And here's why this is important. Your house, as much as it's the American dream, it is not an asset. Okay, an asset is something that produces cash flow and gives you the ability to live off of that cash flow. Your home, Doesn't produce cash flow. Now, does it produce enjoyment? Absolutely. Our home, Stephanie hates when I say this every time, but I'm going to say it again. Our home here is a beautiful home right on the water here in Laguna Beach. It's an expensive home, okay? It is the worst investment I have ever made. Well, not the worst. The Ponzi scheme was the worst, okay? But it's the worst investment from an investment standpoint. In other words, it doesn't make me money and it ties up cash. Now, if we sell it, we're going to do well on it. But I don't want to sell it. I love living here. I go running on the beach every day. No, I don't want to sell it. But why did I buy it? Because when I was purchasing that, the currency wasn't cash. The currency was enjoyment. I saw Stephanie when she stood in the kitchen and how she envisioned herself in there. That's why I bought it. And we could afford it. So I wasn't putting ourselves so buried in debt that we were strapping ourselves and we had no other investments. So that's one of the reasons that I want to get your property paid off. I want to get the debt down on the non-income earning real estate so it can be free and clear and you can be peaceful about it. Okay? Remember, an affluent life is fruitful and peaceful, meaningful and impactful. Okay? So we want to make sure we do that. So step 2, once we're funding our investment accounts and our retirement accounts at 20%, is to start accelerating the pay down of our debt. Now, there is a sub-step here. This is the one where I said either you're in 6 steps or 7 steps, okay? And this is a step that not everyone will have. But here's where if you have children that are thinking of going to college and you want to fund the college, then what I want you to do is then start thinking about how you're going to fund that college. Now, I have a strong opinion on this. And if someone takes offense to it, I'm sorry. But my opinion is right. At least I think so. Sorry. But here's the deal. We got $1.8 trillion in student loan debt right now. $1.8 trillion in student loan debt. We do not go into debt for a college education. I'm sorry. Not that kind of debt. We're taking 18-year-old kids, barely able to drive, out of college, getting them to sign on the dotted line without the understanding of what they're signing in for and the kind of dramatic impact it has. Fact of the matter is, I had a conversation just the other day with someone that had $250,000 in student loan debt. They're graduating college these days at a time where people are supposed to say, hey, now go soar into life. Oh, wait, before you go soar, let me strap this ball and chain called student loan debt to your ankles. We need to plan for it. If your kids want to go to college, that's fine. That's fine. They got to figure out the college. They got to understand that they have something to do with it. They can get scholarships. They can get grants. They can get all kinds of things, but they got to work for it. Parents don't go on the hook for it. That's just my belief. And here's why. Your retirement is a priority. Because my kid may or may not ever go to college. And now I'm putting money into a college fund that they may never go to. And even worse yet, they go to college, can't figure out their major, they spend all the money, and they never even graduate from college. Now what? The thing that we know is going to happen is that you're going to retire. So let's take care of you first. And if we can pay for the college, then great. Let's put some money away. We can use 529 plans, educational funding. We can do all kinds of things to make that happen, but we do it in a way that doesn't bury us in debt. And Lord knows, I have a cousin, oh my God, and he couldn't figure it out, and I came unglued on him. I'm sure you probably figured that I would have come unglued on him, because he got a master's degree, he got a PhD in art history. And he was complaining that he couldn't get paid enough. And I go, wait a second, you got paid your value. You should have thought about it. A PhD in art history, what is their salary and what kind of debt did you go into to get that degree? Return on investment, it's the same analysis, but we don't teach the kids this. So the parents need to take it on. Sorry, did I go off on a rant right there. I am sorry, but I don't want you to bury yourselves in debt, bury your future, sell your future for your children to go to college when we don't know if they're going to college, if they're going to graduate, or if they're going to get a degree that matters. I want you to get your kids involved in the college experience if they choose to do it. So they need to understand that this isn't a free ride. They can work to get scholarships. They got to get good grades. They got to get involved. They can get grants. They can work even during school if they need to. If you have the wealth and you're building the wealth and be able to do this, and you want to fund the college, totally cool. Do it. Okay? When my son wanted to go to college, at first he wanted to go into film school at USC. That would have cost me $250,000. Like, I'm going, okay, now we could afford it, but the good news is I infected him with the entrepreneur bug. So he didn't go to USC for film school. So it saved me a whole lot of money. And now he's doing great. All right. But my point being is that this is a sub-step because not everyone is going to have kids. Not everyone's going to have college-bound kids. Not everyone's going to fund a college. But if you do not. This is why I put it after you are fully funding your retirement account, you're fully funding your investment account, and you're accelerating your pay down of your property. I put it after that because you must come first. Put your mask on first. Remember what they say on the airlines. Okay? So that leads us to the last step. This is the step in the wealth priority ladder that everyone wants to get to. And this last step is affluence. Okay? By this step, you're in a place where you have no debt, your mortgage is paid off, your retirement's fully funded, and you have excess cash coming in. This is the objective of becoming an affluent entrepreneur. This is the objective of what we do with the Affluence Blueprint, to build a financial machine that can take care of you. And when you get to this point, the only thing you do is live that richer lifestyle. Be generous as all get out. Make a difference, create the legacy, and pass it on. When I say it, I mean your knowledge, your skills, your philosophy, your gifts, not really the money, okay? Not really the money, but you can pass the money on if you want. But you can go to charities. Now all of a sudden you're doing things like I've got my own charity that deals with abuse and violence against women and children. It's just near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. Our youth and women, I can't deal with it when there's violence and abuse. And so we created a charity that deals with it. So you get a chance to do those things, to get behind missions and everything. Lord knows the other charity that I would create would have to do with animals. The problem is I'd take all the doggone animals in because I love animals. So I have to steer clear of that because it's not going to be a charity. It's going to be a zoo. So these are the steps. This is the wealth priority ladder. If you're just coming in the game and you have debt, let's get you out of debt. But let's get you to a point where you have a comfort fund, a peace of mind fund, where you have the ability to make some decisions. Your decisions today will affect your tomorrows. Your decisions today will set the destiny for you financially. It'll make the difference for you financially. This is what we need to do. Now, this may take some tough love. This may take some tough thinking. This may take some tough conversations. What that means is that you got to sit down with yourself, your spouse, your significant other, your partner in life, and have these real conversations because your future depends on it. Your legacy depends on it. Your children, your grandchildren, everything depends on it. The missions, the movements, the difference you want to make depend on it. And I promise you, as much as it might feel like it's good, that pair of shoes, that purse, that technology, guys, the luxury car, it's fleeting. It's passing. But your future isn't. So this is the wealth priority ladder. This is the thing that I want you to do. This is the way I want you to start making decisions in the future. All right. So that's it for today. All right. That's what I wanted to talk about today and make sure that you were in the game for that. So let me see if there's any questions or any comments and and rock and roll. Here's the thing. Tomorrow is almost the last day. Day number 9 tomorrow. We've got next week. We're coming home with the Affluent Entrepreneur Show is going live. All right. We want to make sure that we have everyone going to that show because we're going to make a difference. I want to change people's financial destiny. Our birthright is to be financially independent. We just got to go claim it. Let's claim it the right way. Let's make it happen. I'm with you every step of the way. I want to celebrate you. I want to see you soar and make that happen. So, awesome. Is there any way to go back to see these sessions that you missed? Yes, there is. There is a replay page. I will post the link, but it went out in my email. So if you're on my email list, then you should have got it. But there is a replay page where I'm posting all of these that you can go to it. But let's make sure that I'll post it in, and that way you can get access to it. How does an extra mortgage payment speed off paying off? It's accelerated pay downs. This is a great question. That if I can we can run some numbers, but if I can make additional payments on my loan, one additional payment a year, it will cut years off the loan. It's a mathematical equation. I can run through the numbers and everything, but bottom line is if you have the ability to make one extra payment a year, then if your payment is $2,400 a month, and you can make a payment of $2,600 a month, by the time you get to the end of the year, you paid one extra payment each year. And now you think that that's just one extra payment, but that one extra payment brings the principal down, and when the principal goes down, the amount of interest you owe goes down. And this is, as much as you get the compound effect for investing, this will be a compound effect on reducing the interest. Okay? Salima, this is a great question I get all the time. Would you pay the property off if the interest is low and you can make more by investing? Here's the challenge. The answer is most of the time yes, because I know what it feels like to be completely debt-free. I don't need to worry about the property value dropping. I don't need to worry about, can I continue to make the payments? Something happened to me in cash flow, because I have no debt. That when that happens, that gives me a whole lot of peace of mind and everything. Now, the other side of it is, if you're taking money and you're saying, I'm borrowing money at 3% because I think I can make 8 or 10%. Okay? And you're going to work off the spread. You're borrowing money to invest. It may be borrowed against your house, but really what you did is secure the investments against the house by borrowing the money. And so if those investments go bad on you and the economy shifts and we get a correction at 30% or 40%, and now those investments go down and the economy's bad and you lose your job or business goes bad, how do you make your loan payments on the mortgage? It's dependent on your situation, but by and large, I like people getting out of debt over time. What I certainly say is, prior to getting to the point of retirement age, prior to getting to the point of getting out of the business in the retirement age, you want to make sure that you're completely out of debt. When you are at retirement age and living on the earnings and everything, you don't want to have debt. We want to get rid of the debt. Okay? All right. You guys rock. You guys rock. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. I'm going to post another prompt for day number 9, and we're going to be live again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do me a favor. Make sure that you are commenting on the exercises. I see it. I'm commenting back. We're having conversations. This is awesome. Make sure you're commenting, because on Wednesday, we're going to start doing some giveaways. All right. We're going to have some more fun. I hope you guys are having fun, because I am. And y'all keep showing up, and I love this. All right. And I love you guys. And we're going to make this happen. So thank you so much for being here. And let's have some fun together. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have an incredible, incredible evening. Cheers. Bye.